Byddi Lee is definitely from Armagh. I'm from Armagh City. Years ago, she dreamt that she knew the answer to everything in the universe, and it wasn't 42. But she forgot what it was upon waking up. Since then, she's kept a dream diary and discovered that her favourite dreams are about eating chocolate and flying, in that order. She has yet to redream the answer to everything in the universe, but is delighted that dreaming about eating chocolate has 0 calories. Byddi tonight is reading A Thick Foundation. Byddi.
Yeah, Kieran, when that came in, I was so gleeful because I knew Raymond would be reading that little ditty about the mulberry much. So I'm just going to quickly say thank you so much to everybody for being here, readers, listeners. It's great to see so many people. Thank you. Right. A thick foundation. Strawberry jam spread right to the corners on fluffy white squares, exactly how George liked them. A picky eater even as a baby, he'd screw up his little red face as he mouthed around for her nipple and pummeled her with tiny pink fists. His furtive squawks made her hands shake. When he'd finally latched on, he'd gulp down all she had to offer, and she'd watch him with pride and relief. Her wee son, the light of her life. Her hand juddered when she lifted his plate, so it clacked against the Formica countertop. She switched it to her good hand and set it on the kitchen table in front of George. Here you go, love. Will we switch off the telly? The football's on. George looked at the plate. What's that? Just a wee bite to keep you going. I'm not eating that. He shoved the plate to the middle of the table. But you're a growing boy. Ma, I'm 37. Kathleen sniffed, reached across, picked up the plate and carried it to the counter. There was no space to set it down. The breakfast dishes piled by the sink. She would wash them when the shaking settled down. Her hand was playing up because she was letting tiredness and stress get to her. She set the bread and jam, plate and all, into the cupboard. Somewhere he couldn't see it. Somewhere it wouldn't upset him. Maybe he'll stay for dinner. She had a nice steak in the fridge. A treat for herself. But if George wanted it... Nah, I'm going out. With Megan? No, we're finished. Sure, I told you that. Jesus, Ma, you never listen. Right, sorry, I remember now. But she didn't. She rested her hand on his shoulder, his flesh pushed at his shirt, squidgy beneath her fingers. She thought of his father, the same age, white-faced, clutching his chest. I saw her up the town on Wednesday, Kathleen said. She held her breath. George straightened up, twisting in his chair to look her in the eye. So? Well, she was plastered in makeup. His interest in what she was saying gave her courage to go on. It did her no favours in either. Her foundation looked like it was laid on with a gardening trowel. Plaster's trowel, Ma. Well, whatever. She had these big, ludicrous-looking sunglasses on her, like you see them film star ones wearing. Made her look like a bug. George turned his gaze to the floor. You'll meet a nicer girl, son. Poor wee soul was devastated. Her heart sank. When George hurt, she hurt. I do not want to discuss it, George said through clenched teeth. Kathleen took the steak from the fridge and brought it to the hob. She used her good hand to turn on the ring, but the shakes picked up in the bad hand, so the pan rattled against the cooktop. What are you doing? I'm making you a nice steak, she said. I told you, I don't want anything. But a nice wee bit of... She turned towards him. The pan flipped sideways. The steak slid out and landed on the lino with a glop. Jesus, Ma, look what you've done now. Sorry, son. I just... Stop shaking that pan about. George towered over her, his eyes bulging. Kathleen let go of the pan. It clattered into the sink, knocking down a pile of dishes and smashing a glass. See, this is what happens when you don't clean up after yourself, you stupid bitch. Spittle flew from his lips, wetting her cheeks. She lifted her hands up to her face, the bad one flip-flopping like a fish in a line. I'm sorry. George bared his teeth and darkness swallowed the last of the light in his eyes. His red face screwed up as he mouthed obscenities. Not so tiny fists pummeled the flesh that had once nourished them. It's not his fault. He's stressed out. He just broke up with his girlfriend. His father died young. He doesn't mean it. Pain forced her mind from her body. Kathleen came to on the lino beside the steak. Jerky and shivering, she pushed herself into a sitting position. The black mirror of the oven door bounced her reflection back to her. Her trembling fingers explored the ballooning eyebrow. Kathleen stared at the dark image of herself. She'd have to take time off work, lose out on earnings, hide from her friends for a week or more this time. Unless, she wondered to herself, where do you think Megan got that thick foundation and those big sunglasses?